Amazon Kindle Vella experiment ends. I call it winding down. I received this email from Amazon. We will wind down Kindle Vella February 26, 2025. For that date, we recommend download your story. Yeah, I wrote a Kindle Vella story. And I have done that. And download your Kindle Vella reports from KDP Reports. After February 26, you'll no longer have access to the Kindle Vella dashboard. Readers are no longer able to purchase new tokens, but can continue to use any remaining. For more information, blah, blah. And I just downloaded that a little bit ago. It's January 28th, 2025. So I uploaded there were 3 books, Kindle Vella books I wrote. Speed of Freedom, Slaves' Freedom Purchased, An Alternative History of the American Civil War. Well, published under the name Bull Beatty, Beauregard Beatty. There's the Amazon ID number, last modified August 15th, 2021. Story and episode statuses, 8 unpublished. Well, I unpublished them and then, so yeah, I did download my story. This one, Sun on Earth, An Alternative History of Atom Bomb Use in World War II by the United Kingdom. So, what this is about, if you don't know, and you probably don't, Abraham Lincoln, in his State of the Union address in the Civil War had started, offered to buy all the slaves' freedom from the South. He made different pitches. He actually made this proposal in his first 2 State of the Unions. And of course, the South rejected. They believed they would win the war. And didn't work out that way. Lincoln proposed to buy 2.7% of all slaves each year for the next 37 years and return them to Africa, whether they wanted to go or not. So they were still considered property. He could buy them and send them back. And that's so I just wrote that version of history. And I had published 8 episodes. And this, Sun on Earth, the British had developed a bomber that could drop 10,000-pound bombs on Germany. So when, this is nonfiction, just like Lincoln's story, Lincoln did those State of the Union addresses. That's what he would have done had the South accepted his offer. And here, the British had this aircraft that could drop 10,000-pound bombs. They were dropping 10,000 bombs on Germany. So when the Americans built the atomic bombs, they weighed about 10,000 pounds. And America did not have any aircraft that could carry and drop a 10,000-pound bomb. So they were going to use the British, and then American jingoists fools, basically, said, no, we'll just have to adapt some of these new B-29s. And that's what they did. It would have been much safer to use the British aircraft, but I didn't want to use any British aircraft. So there's a third one. I won't go into that now. So that's today also. January 28th, but this will all vanish by next month. I salute all the writers, Kindle Vella writers, who did make entries. Now, here's Speed of Freedom. Again, it's nonfiction. Robert E. Lee wished we could avoid war by purchasing the freedom of all slaves. And as soon as we had a war and Lincoln was president, December 1, 1862, what is now called, it wasn't called State of the Union Address. That's why I got an asterisk here. But I wrote an alternative history, and one at a time. I published the first 8 episodes on Kindle Vella. I made up, part of it's fiction. Battle, Stonewall Jackson's buddy. I gave him a fictional dog, Buddy. Buddy gets shot protecting Stonewall. Sharpshooter's hat. Culp Hill was an actual battle. Moving from slave-powered Southern workforce to steam-powered. Now, this would have become, if it had been financially successful, a steampunk stories. But it wasn't. Nobody seemed to be interested. So, and even, let's see down here. Okay, this was before, Lincoln's assassination attempt in my story is a bomb. Fortunately, Lincoln went out to save his wife, Mary, got directions confused, and so he wasn't there when the bomb went off. He was out looking for his wife. That's an actual story from my life, but not going into that. But Speed of Freedom, I thought that was the only issue in reality was at what speed the slaves were going to have their freedom. So that's what my book was about. Could have been profitable, wasn't. You can blame the author, which is what businesses do. Amazon will blame the authors for the failure of Kindle Vella. I could certainly get into that, and I'm sure others will. I wrote an actual letter because my other emails didn't seem to be getting anywhere. But how did Charles Dickens make his fortune? Well, basically, Kindle Vella 100 years earlier, more than 100 years earlier, about the time of the Civil War. Dickens, after he had some success, he wrote his novels. Well, he wrote all his novels piecemeal, just like Kindle Vella. and what I thought, and I told Amazon, and as with all big institutions, they ignore good ideas. Um, I should do it just like Dickens. He wrote pieces that were in daily newspapers. They were compiled into weekly newspapers and into monthly magazines. And when he was done, they were published as a book and then published in a revised edition, cleaning up all of the infelicities that had occurred in a well outlined book. I mean, his early work he didn't outline, his later work he did, and everyone agrees those are better. Anyway, I salute you Kindle Vella authors. You did what you could. Um, some businesses, if the National Football League owners had their way, they would still be making all their money on a handful of teams, uh, just on their gate receipts and concessions. They refused expansion, so they got a whole competitor league, and now it's the biggest entertainment in the world, I guess, except for Taylor Swift. So Kindle could have been the same. And yeah, I told them exactly what I'm saying here. Well, I went into more detail, step by step. But I think it's like NASA, not invented here, that doesn't exist. So, Kindle Vella authors, you other guys, you other women, um, congratulations on your efforts, and look forward to reading you in the future in some other form.